And then let's set up this freaking podcast.
Yeah, let's do this, motherfucker.
That was cool.
Yeah.
Hi folks, welcome to the second episode of the Peacock's podcast. As you can see for the folks watching on YouTube, we have video evidence now. This is about an hour just to set up because as you can see we have our Corona underground bunker here. Come to this address if you want some toilet paper. No, I'm just kidding. So for all of you folks who are watching on YouTube, we are also on Spotify, iTunes and SoundCloud for anyone who wants to listen to us on the go if you don't want to use up your battery or your minutes on your phone. So yeah, with that being said, let's just jump right...
data.
Oh yeah, your data as well. Yeah, of course, that's really important. With that being said, let's just jump right into it. Andrew, how has it been? Last time we talked, it was about a month ago.
Oh snap! Yeah.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Damn, time's flown. You know, what the hell have I been up to in the last month?
Surviving, bro.
Yeah, pretty much. You know what I mean? It's been like, wow, everything's just happening. Gosh.
Yeah.
I did a show reel for someone recently.
Mm-hmm.
Helped out. It went dope. Yeah, it went really well. Can't remember what I was about to say about that, but no, it went good.
Were you just doing a scene in it?
Yeah, just one scene. She sent me just one scene and no like script around it. So usually that's how I build a character. I read the whole script and then work on that scene. But I didn't have the whole script, so I just thought, you know what?
Just had a scene.
Yeah, just a scene. So I thought, fuck it, let me create everything else.
Yeah.
And it was difficult, but it went down quite nicely.
Sometimes like when I do stuff, when I have the characters and you have the whole book, I like to make a kind of like a before and after of what the events happened or their upbringing. But it almost seems like you had to create this entire person's life apart from this one moment.
Pretty much, yeah. And it was nuts. It was like bang middle in the story.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, maybe a bit towards the end. So I just had to come up with anything.
Absolutely, brother.
Fill in the gaps.
That's the game, innit? That's the game.
That's it.
Yeah, and it's I've heard a lot of places who do what do you call them? Kind of like acting lessons or like classes where you can meet people. They've all been shut down now. So how this epidemic all helped you? Like, because it's so hard to work right now. And to actually be creative. Any of my jobs are just like nothing at the moment. Yeah.
So I'm just it's crazy at the minute. I'm just keeping busy, working out, listening. Like I said earlier, listening to audiobook. Tim Ferriss's audiobook for 4-Hour Work Week. Because I really respect Tim Ferriss. I've been listening to his podcast for years. You know what? The audiobook's actually decent at the moment. I'm not too far in at the moment, but it's decent. Yeah.
You learn anything from it so far? Obviously, you're not too far in it, but is there anything
you feel like snap. What a question. There was... what was that section? I know exactly when it is in the audiobook. 1 hour, 7 minutes in.
It's like a highlighter of your mind.
Yeah, well, I don't exactly remember what it was, but I know it was dope. It was dude dropped some wisdom. So I've kept that little pinpoint in my mind to go back to. But what the heck was it? I can't remember. Anyway, Tim Ferriss.
Don't worry about it.
So, you know.
Don't worry about it. Do you get those on Audible?
Actually, this one I got on YouTube. I just typed it on YouTube.
Oh, so you just get... Oh, okay. Well, it makes sense. He would do that. He's a good businessman.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And he does quite a few different YouTube videos as well.
Yeah. You asked me to listen to a podcast when we finished last time after recording. It was Let's Talk, Bruh.
Let's Talk, Bruh.
Yeah, it was great. I listened to his interview with Tom Williamson.
The actor.
Yeah, did I say his name right? Yeah, Tom Williamson. Yeah, listened to it on the way here. It was brilliant. It was really nice having a podcast where it can hone in a specific topic that, you know, it feels like it's connected to you specifically, or at least like what I was dealing with a couple of years ago. So it's really interesting having someone who can talk about that freely, and especially for being African as well. I love that.
Yeah, I think it's dope. It's such a good podcast because, you know, I just don't hear anyone else talking about it. Yeah. That's one thing that really opened my eyes.
Yeah, apart from ads, obviously. That's why we're here. That's why we're here. Quality content, okay?
That's it. That's how we rock and roll. And I'm eating some raisins too, baby.
Oh my god.
This was a bad idea.
We got some podcast-friendly sweets right here. got some chews. We haven't got any crisps right now. No apples. Can't hear those crunch sounds.
But you can hear the of the wrapper.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, there's not a lot of people talking about it, and I feel like there's so much to talk about in that sense, because I think me and you share something quite similar. If you don't mind me saying that, both of us have been trying to live with our African heritage and embrace that, but we've been in mainly predominantly white environments.
Mm-hmm.
So for me specifically, and I suppose for you, that was a real trouble for us. And then once you come to London, you have these a lot of almost feeling like you have that card where you say you're not black enough, or you're
I even got that in Canterbury.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. I was one of the few black people there, and they're like, "Nah, you're not black." And all this.
By a Caucasian?
Yeah.
Of course.
You're an Oreo, coconut. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
What else are there?
It's rough.
Bounty.
Yeah.
You're white. Anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
But sorry,
it's
back
tough
to you.
Because no, you're right, because it's there's no, being black isn't like, gang banging and rapping and trap music and stuff like that. It's about embracing your culture in many different ways, and people like to express themselves. It's about if people were just like that, then no one would be an individual. And that's what I really love about embracing that culture. And so how did you find it trying to embrace your culture with all of these issues happening? Is there any ways that you found around, or tips or tricks that you tried to find to be more of yourself?
Oh snap!
Oh wow, we're getting some ASMR. Someone's sneaking in my house right now.
That's mad how loud it is.
Hey guys, don't worry about it. That's just a glitch in the system. You guys at home, right? You didn't see anything, right? You see dust coming down? That's nothing, okay? Don't worry about it.
No, sorry, back to your question. Well, how did I stay true to my culture, was it, sorry?
Yeah, and or more like, what is some of the issues that you had and how did you overcome them?
Gosh, the issues I had. I could write a book on that.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. Try to remember, like, a little fun when I'm asked direct, I'm always like, oh shit, what is it? But it usually just comes to me. Let me see. So I remember, being told I'm not black, or I'm white, or you're the whitest black person I know. Mm-hmm. Remember hearing that a lot. Mm-hmm. That was nuts.
Was that in school? Was that in high school?
Yeah,
what time?
Secondary school.
So is that when you went to Canterbury?
I went to Canterbury to start of
Not to call it Canterbury, by the way. Fuck you, Canterbury.
What's Canterbury?
What?
What's Canterbury?
Where was it called again?
Canterbury.
I've been saying it like that this whole time.
Really?
We've been friends for a year, like over a year, and you haven't told me this yet.
I've never heard of that.
Canterbury.
Yeah, Canterbury.
I thought, okay, right, cool. Fuck the other place that doesn't exist. Cool.
But yeah, I moved there when I was 7. So starting off primary school there, and I remember everyone was like, just surprised to see black people, because the school, I think there were.
And you were one of the only black people there?
Yeah.
In your family,
I think there were like 3, 4 of them in my school. Me, my brother, this one girl, and I've left an extra space in case there was someone else I can't remember.
Just for you, random person, yeah.
Who there was.
Yeah.
But, like, so people were just surprised, shocked, and I guess they didn't know how to treat me, how to really talk to me. So yeah, it was tricky. I remember at first, at first I dealt with some bullying. And because I think just people were just like, what? And what's a black person doing here? So yeah, I get.
So when you said you dealt with bullying, what kind of issues was it exactly?
Gosh, I remember. See, it was nothing too heavy, but just a bit more like excluding me from crowds and stuff. I remember this guy kept knocking my pencil case off the table in class. Some dude trying to give me a wedgie. Just a lot of like random stuff. And
they were all. Do you feel they were all racially fueled?
It's a hard one. I think it might be racially motivated, but then again, I was also the new kid, so it's one balancing it out. Yeah. But the fact I do think it was probably. I
think maybe it was a bit of both, because in a sense, when you're new, at the same time, like when it's people who are generally the same sort of culture as you can kind of look past the fact that they're new, or like not really figure out who it is. But when you have someone who you haven't seen before and that he is African,
completely different culture,
completely different color than you, they're going to stand out
big time.
Yeah, absolutely. And someone's going for a run up there.
I know,
Like,
right?
oh my god.
I've never come across this before.
Oh, it was fine. We were podcasting
Yeah,
for an
last
hour
time.
last time.
Podcast 1
Anyway,
worked perfectly.
Anyway, we'll try our best to talk really loud over them. Don't worry. But yeah, that's really impressive because when I grew up, because I'm mixed race in Scotland, I didn't have many people who were black. I was probably the closest person to being black there, and I got a lot of bullying just from my friends. And I think for me, there wasn't anyone I could connect to. So when the bullying happened, I was just like, oh, I'm just happy to like that's the closest. Being called a nigger was the only closest point to expressing my culture that I could find at that point. And at the time, I didn't mind it, but then looking back, I was like, whoa, that really has fucked me up.
And I know what you mean, and that's you made a very good point. That there's no one you can like go to and be like, no group you can be
apart
like,
from your family, if you can talk.
But
to
even
them,
then, you know, you can't be like, oh, this happened at school today. For me, anyway, I didn't feel like that close to my family.
You'd never do that.
Yeah. So it just felt like you just hold this shit in and just take it.
I would always tell my stepdad because I was raised to talk about how I feel a lot, and I think that's one thing.
That's interesting. That's a good way.
Yeah, it's good for me, but sometimes I lost a lot of friends because I was brutally honest, just far too much. But yeah, I digress. I remember telling my stepdad many times because I was out, and one of my best friends, he's Greek, and we're out and camera. Just came off for a second. But yeah, I remember I was out with my friend and we were walking down the street, and then there was a group of white people, and they started yelling, calling me a nigger. And then I went home and I started telling my stepdad, yeah, I mean, we were out, and some guy started calling me that. And he was like, right, get in the car. I was like, what? He says, get in the car, let's go and find them. And I was like, whoa, okay, no, we're not doing this right now. So even though I think my stepdad, he's also mixed race, and he's Jamaican, so I think his way of being a man, or at least black man, is to try and, when an issue erupts, be aggressive and assertive of how you feel about it. Even though he's very true to his culture and he could be really honest with you, but when a problem arises, it's like it's action time. And I really appreciated that, knowing that there was going to be someone who would like fight for me. But I just feel like sometimes being aggressive isn't the way to talk about it.
Yeah, because I'm not a very aggressive person myself, so I definitely understand that as well. I know, right?
It's great. Go on.
Stomping all over our podcast.
We're looking for like we're hiding from the government kind of environment. That's what we're aiming for this episode of the podcast, folks. Don't worry about it.
Do you know? Have you ever heard that podcast? There's an actors podcast. I can't remember what it's called. Curtain Call. That's it. Curtain Call. The British one. It's like very much they're talking with actors backstage of while everyone's getting ready. So they're like, oh, sorry, pardon me, excuse me. People stepping by, announcements going off. But yeah, it's dope actually. There's some cool actors on there. So you know, this is that kind of situation. What?
Well, that's really loud, Jesus.
I know, I've been trying to be quiet, but sorry.
Oh, there's no point. There's so much going on right now. We're backstage right now. This is that. And I think, as for me, at least, I've been in London for about a year and a half, and before that I moved to Glasgow, and there was more people culturally there, but no one seemed to really embrace the fact. Like they were like, yeah, I met a few black people, but not a lot of them embraced their culture. They're just like, yeah, you know, I'm more Scottish than anything, and I think that's fine embracing it that way. But then when I came to London, it's a whole different ball game, and that really helped me in terms of, at least for me, help who I was as more of a, in terms of my Africanness, because I never really was able to fully grasp it or take or feel who I am. A kind of like racial identity crisis kind of thing. And it's kind of a sense when you don't see a lot of black people and you are light and you are mixed race. Whoa, okay.
Yeah, that was huge.
Someone's angry. and you are light, and you just think, what do people who are African, what do they think of me? Like, would they accept me? And then when I'm here, it's like, yeah, everyone just kind of doesn't know, and then I just kind of have to explain it, and I feel relieved that I know where I stand, and I'm just like, well, people question it, like, last time I had this podcast, I had my box braids on it, and if someone was to come up and say to me, "Oh, racially culturally inappropriate" or something like that, I'd be
like, listen, man, my name's Shola. Don't even try me. Shola Ogonyemi.
Oh, dude. Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you, right? My fucking postman, he comes to the door a couple of months ago. He's like, "Yeah, I've got it's an African guy," and he comes to the door and he's like, "Yeah, I got a package for Shola," and I go, "Yep, that's me," and he goes, "This is a package for Shola," and I go, "Uh-huh, that's me," and he goes, "Like Shola," and I was like, "Correct, yeah," and he goes, "Are you African?" And I go, "Yeah. Can I get my package now?" And then that was like, man. And I think ever since then, like, he's been quite chummy. But
was this in London?
Yeah, this is where I stay right now.
Yeah. Snap.
Yeah.
Shola Ogonyemi.
Yeah.
Is that you?
It's like, why not? Yeah, sure, that's me. Let's just get it. But when I lived in Glasgow, it was constantly, because I lived in a student place where lots of different people from elsewhere. So when they figured out that I was mixed race, a lot of people would tell me I'm not. Mm-hmm. So they were like, "Oh no, you're I see you as mainly white." And when I was there, I was like, oh, "Okay, yeah, sure, yeah, me too, yeah, I'm really light, I guess." But now I'd feel like, well, it's not really up to you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you don't get to decide what I identify myself as or who I am. And when I'm in London, it's mainly just a lot of explaining it to people, and I feel like I've grown a bit of a harder skin coming here. So thankful for that.
There's a documentary you should check out. I believe it's called Black and Scottish.
Shut the fuck up.
No, for real.
Why haven't you told me? Why? We have to talk. We've talked outside of this podcast because I think
it just popped into my head now when you're talking about it. I was like, "Oh shit! I've seen a documentary." I saw a documentary. Sorry, bad grammar there. My bad. I watched a documentary like it was a few months ago called Black and Scottish, and you popped into my mind when I thought about it. When I watched it, even I don't know why I didn't pass on the message. I watched a lot of documentaries in and out. But this wasn't on Netflix.
Yeah, you do watch a lot of documentaries. Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was talking about like a lot of successful Black Scottish people talking. Even the guy from Sex Education.
Oh yeah, I don't know his full name.
Eric. His name's Shooty. Shooty.
Oh, is it Shooty? I thought it was Shooty. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, it was spelled with an N. That's definitely West African.
Yeah, because his accent's really good in that.
Yeah, but he's Scottish. But his accent in Sex Education is his normal accent.
No, it's slightly different.
Is it?
It's slightly different. So if you watch, I did think that when you listen to a few interviews, but if you're like me and you go down the rabbit hole, you can hear, okay, he's from Scotland. But it's very subtle.
Subtle, no,
he is subtle, and I like that because I think sometimes the subtlety is the hardest part. But there's certain actors who use their accent for their benefit. So for instance, you have David Tennant.
Exactly the person I was thinking of.
Exactly. And when he does his English accent, it almost sounds Scottish, but it's not. It's like really.
What? To me, it's just bang on English. Like, it just sounds. I just thought it was English.
I don't know. It just kind of goes for the one that sounds a bit like that's what they say. They say, I think a lot of mainstream actors are asked, "Oh, when you do an American accent, what American accent do you?" And they say, "Oh, the one that sounds most British." So if they have to do a general American accent, they do the one that sounds a little bit British. Okay. So it's easier for them.
Damn, so it's not a hard switch.
Yeah, I think maybe Jessica Jones is a good example of that. You listen to him there, and you listen to him in like Doctor Who or whatnot. You can see it. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just so in depth about the Scottish.
A tuned ear to it.
I'm like, I mean, yeah.
I don't.
I'm not Irish, by the way, in case everyone thinks. Basically the same thing. Don't worry.
I mean, it's funny when you reach like when you go above Birmingham, when you reach now New York, not New York, Newcastle. In fact, no, above Yorkshire, when you're reaching like Newcastle, there, the accent for me gets confusing.
Where, sorry?
Like Newcastle, Geordie side.
Oh,
so just above Yorkshire, before you reach Scotland. That whole area for me is just baffling.
You mean all the way from Newcastle to the top?
To Scotland. To the bottom of Scotland. So
you wouldn't be able to identify one Scottish accent to the other?
Oh, no. Oh, God. Scottish accents is not at all.
No.
But, like, I met, like, a few Geordie people back at drama school. And I honestly thought they're from a different country.
Mm.
I was there
That's
like,
pretty
no,
off.
it's not Welsh. It's something
But
that's.
some people, like even like me, I feel like when I listen to my audio, it's not fully Scottish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's not fully Glaswegian. If I was meant to talk a wee bit more Scottish, it sound like this. But I don't really roll with that. It's just I think my accent's a little bit of a mix of everything because the school that I went to, there's a lot of diversity of people.
Okay, yeah.
Some, but mainly Europe, so a lot of Germans, a lot of English people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and maybe I maybe tried to shy away from the Scottish accent a little bit, so that's why my accent's a little bit more gentrified, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But
See, I wouldn't really be able to tell. I can't distinguish the different Scottish accents.
yeah.
I can tell when it's thicker
you at least knew when mine's were Scottish. I mean, you're onto something there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
There we
pretty
go.
good.
There we go. Right.
Well, do most people not be able to guess yours is Scottish?
I think a lot of people who don't know, but it's mainly down to ignorance.
Really?
A lot of people just think it's Irish. That's why I said not Irish.
Oh, okay, that makes sense. I was a bit confused. When
You were like,
that.
okay,
I thought I missed something.
Did you think that you were Irish for a second? Yes, of course.
But I remember, yeah, when I first met you, I immediately could tell that was an Irish.
I think.
There we go. That's a Scottish accent.
Wow. But I think maybe it's because you're an actor. I think that's
maybe, yeah, because actually drama school I studied speech for a year.
Yeah.
And to be fair, yeah, I've been to Scotland a few times. Actually, no, only twice. I need to go back.
It's quite funny though, because I remember I was in Berlin. I was doing a round trip of Europe, and I met some kids there who'd just been to Edinburgh.
Yeah.
And a lot of people pronounce Edinburgh Edinburgh. And that really triggers me.
What?
Yeah, I think it's because in America they have like some places called like Pittsburgh or something like that.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, something like that.
Pittsburgh, isn't it? Pittsburgh?
Yeah, so that's why they call it Edinburgh, I think, like that. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, so the places that they have in their country are pronounced differently. But I just find it weird how you're in the country, how you're in the city, and you just won't be able to pronounce it correctly. Where they speak the same language as you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Despite what other people think.
Gosh.
But you said
I'd have corrected bare people.
Oh well, yes. Yeah, I did. I was like, actually.
It's Edinburgh.
It's Edinburgh.
Cool.
Bruh. But you said that you went to drama school, and in drama school in Mount Pugh, you said that you were talking about some of the accents that you had to learn.
Like Yorkshire. Yeah. When am I gonna use Yorkshire?
What did you want out of the curriculum looking back for at least the accents?
Well, to be honest, I wanted something that would work more with your castability. Stuff you could be cast for, not just one size fits all kind of thing. You know, because there were people of different complexions, and see that's one thing actually. When it came to second year, that's when we could decide our own accent. But we did go through a lot of different ones. Like, we did Scouse, Manc, Brummie. So for people that don't know, Manchester, Liverpool, and Birmingham. Yeah.
Birmingham.
And we did a
wait. Was that like it wasn't like you can just choose any accent you want? It was like here's a list and then choose one of them.
Well, no, like in the classes, it was okay. Tomorrow, next week, we're going to be learning a Manchester accent. Next week, we'll be learning Liverpool accent. But then when it came to the test, the exam on it, if you will, assessment even, we could choose our own accent, choose whichever accent we wanted. So I did Jamaican, because why not?
Yeah, nice.
I was thinking Kenyan, but I'd already done Kenyan before.
Yeah.
So I thought, let me try Jamaican.
How did you feel it went?
It went well, actually. You know what? I picked up a Jamaican accent quite nicely because I've done it before. I played. Have you seen The Crucible already?
Of course, yeah.
Tituba. I was the one black person in the class, so they're like, right, you have to play.
Wasn't Tituba originally a female?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking gender switch.
Whatever. That's
no one else could play other than me. Oh, someone's just popped up again.
Fuck again. Get a bit of a rustling action going on. Oh, that's great, isn't it? Oh.
We go into ASMR again.
Right for you guys. Right for you. Put on some Bob Ross, throw on this as well, you'll be good. I think what's really interesting about casting people of a different ethnicity when it usually requires their ethnicity is when at least my school, where I went, again, not many black people, in the university. Nope, sorry, tell a lie. the school that I used to go to, I went to go and see their production of The Crucible, and they had someone play Tituba who was from Germany, white. And where do you stand on this? Because it feels like if you have a production, do you feel like they should honor that by don't do it if it requires to have a black person in there, or do you feel that they should be okay just to deal with that if the circumstances allow it?
I kind of feel that the Crucible is on a curriculum. I think everyone has to perform it or something.
It's definitely it's a big thing in Britain, isn't it?
Yeah, because we all study it at one point or another. So they didn't black this German girl up, so I'm happy about that. Yeah. No blackface, Jesus. No blackface. Oh God, I'd be pissed.
But would it also be authentic because they would do that back in the day? You know what I'm saying?
See, it would do it back in the day, but in this day and
age, you're just backwards. That's what it is. You're back. You're the issue, Andrew.
Hey, no, I'm too forward. But yeah, no, because I guess it can make sense because she's the only one not from America, I guess. And since I don't have too big of an issue with that.
Now, here's another question. Let me further on this question, right?
Okay.
Let me add on to
the part 2. All right.
Part 2. Here we go. We're going to go to a trilogy here. Part 2. I auditioned for a production of Hairspray in Glasgow, and this was an amateur theatre. Later finding out that I had to pay for my membership, so I did not do it. But when doing it, we said, okay, so we're going to do the scene where they do the... I don't know a lot about musicals. I'm just going to say the song "Black of the Berry."
Okay, Seaweed song.
Yeah, Seaweed song. Yeah,
I played Seaweed once. I sang that song.
No way.
Yeah.
Did not know that.
Back in the day, that was my song.
I did. Goals right there. Goals. But they said, oh, we brought him out, and they brought out this white guy. And then they brought out this other girl, and they were doing the whole song and everything. And I thought, oh, he's just like a stand-in. But then they're like, oh, we're really excited to see you play him and everything. And I was like, oh no, he's like the main guy. And I looked around, and there was one other person auditioning who was maybe maybe from like Iran or something like that. And that was like the one other person of color there. And I was like, I feel problematic being a part of this.
See, yeah, now that I have a problem with.
But that's what the story's about. The story's about
race.
About
it's
race.
Centered around it. It's Jesus.
Why would you do it?
It's around the Jim Crow times as well back in that makes no sense if they're all white. See that one you shouldn't do. You just shouldn't do it.
We should just sidestep that.
It makes no point. I did it back in sixth form, and there were very, very few of us of color there.
But you can still have people of color.
Yeah, there were maybe 6, 7 of us. So that was all the Negroes.
Yeah. Together. And then they had the lighter people at the back.
Yeah.
They had the lighter people really like backstage, so we still have dances, but they're not on stage. They're behind the curtain. It's fine. Don't worry.
They're white. People a bit further back, and me being me, Seaweed up at the front. Because it was bad, but yeah, no, it's kind of mad. Come to think of it.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But yeah, that one should just not be done. Just not I don't care if it's in a curriculum or not. How
that wasn't a curriculum. That was an amateur theatre group.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, I just.
But they're obsessed with Hairspray, though. Nonetheless, people.
I think I was talking to my mum about that, and I don't think she really understood the full capacity of what I was trying to say when I said it's just all white people.
Does she know the story?
Probably not. I'm going to say most definitely not. So she was like, "Oh, it's a job, sure, I'll just go for it." And I was like, morally, no, I can't do it. So I think I'm at least happy with myself that I didn't at least kind of sell out. At that point, I still had my morals. I mean, I thought I had no morals at that point. I just want a job. But then when you see something like that, you're like, oh, I can't. Has there been any jobs where you've had to go, look, I can't do this? Oh, you're so lucky if you can. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah.
So lucky. Oh, so many.
I can't think of anything.
None? Huh? You've not done it?
Says card full.
Right, cool, man.
We down on camera, but that's chill.
That's cool, bro.
So, unfortunately, I do not know any jokes. Oh, you ready? Oh, my bad.
Oh yeah, I was just letting you go for it. I was letting you go for it. I was
I
like,
was about to start a speech there. That would have gone on for a while.
Yeah,
So, good thing you
I
started.
wouldn't have stopped you. So,
But yeah, bruv,
can you
talk
move
me
this out
about.
the way?
Yeah,
Sorry.
yeah.
I got them.
Talk
Yeah,
to
so
me
I had
about
so I
these
had
different
so I
situations.
had one job,
Mhm.
which was I didn't have this. Okay, so we have a thing called Scottish filmmakers and actors, and that's where a lot of people who are amateurs get their work in Scotland. The Facebook group. It's really popular. I think if it's done here in London, it's just impossible to do because there's so many people wanting it.
Yeah.
So it's one particular job, posted by a guy. I won't name his name. But he did happen to go to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, which he told me. And so he said, "Oh yeah," he contacted me. He's like, "Yeah, come for a talk. We'll do a talk." And the character was, I didn't know much about the play. Sorry, the film. He said, "Oh, we'll come have a talk about it." And the character was a worker at Starbucks who would work. It was either that I was me and one other person in the scene, and in the scene, someone would come in and try and order coffee, but we were both gay. I don't know if we were together, but we're both homosexual workers at the Starbucks. He would come in and he would do an interview, and he would have homophobic preferences because he was like in war and all this like toxic masculinity. He was incredibly violent, and he would like do this speech where he's like, "Oh, I hate you," all yeah, he's all saying this really calling really inappropriate words for gay people and stuff like that. I don't want to say it, but you know the words. So I was like, cool. I read for it, and he's like, great, love you. Come on, we'll go and do it. I was like, cool. And also found out this guy used to go to the Royal Conservatoire of Scotland, but then he left because he said that he had family issues, so he didn't stay. So I was like, oh wow, really big deal. I'm working with someone who works at the Royal Conservatoire.
Oh, wait, he worked there?
No,
a student.
He attended there.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. Cool, he attended there. Thank you for correcting me. So we go on and we have some meetings about the production. Sorry, it's a long story. And there was one other girl there who was black, and she was going to play the main characters. So there's a lot of different storylines going on. And it was mainly the story was about different cultures and how they work together. But his way of going around it was a bit all over the place, kind of like the story I'm talking right now. It was so he had one person who was the soldier who had the homophobic tendencies and whatnot, and then he had him. He's the director. He wrote it, and he was also playing this one scene where he would have his girlfriend at the time, and they'd have like a physical, abuse kind of like instance, and then it would become so aggressive to the point where they'd start passionately making love. And that woman was an African girl. She was the other black person there, and she seemed really nice, really lovely, and I was like, okay, great, this seems all great. And then so that was kind of the story, and there's lots of other people there. It had all little roles and whatnot. So he starts the meeting and he says, "Hi, folks. So we've had to ask one people to leave the production because he had an issue with his washing machine and it broke down." And then he said, "Oh, sorry, I won't be able to attend the meeting." And he goes, "Oh, why not? It's just your washing machine." And he goes, "Oh, because it's my wife and my kids, and I don't want her to leave her with a newborn baby because it's a lot of to deal with." He's like, "Okay, cool. Don't show up again." So he cut him out, and I was like, that was a clear red flag to just not take us any further. But you want a job. Going to point out right now, this job was free, but connections are connections, right? And you want that. And the meetings progressed. The second meeting happened, and the black girl was no longer there. And I was like, okay, I'm not seeing her at the meeting. This is weird. And then he went and told us, oh yeah, this girl, can't remember her name, has left the production due to the fact that I asked her instead of when we had the sexual scene, instead of me pinning her down and then would have sex, she would turn around, put on a strap on, and then have sex with me, anal sex. And then she goes, rightly so, as an actress, okay, I understand that, but I just have to ask why we would do that. Just saying where she can understand it from his perspective. And then he went, "You tell me." and she couldn't figure out an answer, so she's no longer in the production anymore.
What?
Right? It's like if someone asks you like why do you feel like that's necessary? Why did you feel it was necessary to change the scene like that? You tell me. It's your fucking idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Anyway,
like cool. Let's just make sense of it so I can understand.
There's no conversation. There's like conversations up to you,
yeah,
right?
You know, that's weird.
It's weird, bro.
Right.
And
Right.
so same session. I'm talking with the main guy, the army dude, and we're about to do our scene together. Me, another guy, and him. So we're doing the scene, and it's a scene where I'm a bit more of a standoff, and I'm a bit more of I've done my character research, and my character's a bit more of he's proud of the fact that he's gay, and he will stand up for himself if anyone tries to do it, because it has that in the scene. But I'm more of like, oh yeah, just fuck off, just get out of here. And it was like, it didn't really feel that way, so I felt it was more necessary to be a bit more aggressive. So if he starts shouting, I'll shout back. Mm-hmm. And so we're doing the scene, and he starts doing the thing where he's chanting at me, and then I'm like, oh, you should really get out of here, just fuck off, or whatever like that. And then we're looking at each other like the end of the scene, end of the things, and then he stops, and he turns to the director, and he says, you've got to make him stop, or else I'm going to punch him. About me. And I was like, yeah, the actor said, you've got to make him stop, or otherwise I'm going to punch him. And I got fucking like my heart just dropped, and I'm like, okay, fuck, all right, don't hurt me. Like, this isn't real. Like, this isn't real, right?
Yeah. What the hell?
So that was like,
because wait, so he was chanting, and what were you doing that pissed him off so much?
So essentially,
standing there.
So essentially, he's doing an interview, and like we're being like, we're like trying to talk to him and being like, oh, so you love coffee? What do you love about coffee? And he's like, I just want coffee. I just want to pour drinks so I can make money, kind of thing. And we're like, oh no, but we really care about environment and like people and like relationships and stuff like that, and that's what we're really about here at Starbucks or whatever. We couldn't use the term Starbucks, so we changed the coffee place to be a bit more. But anyway. So then it would be like, oh, you're a bunch of poofs, you're a bunch of this, that, or whatever, do you know? And he's like, oh, I should have kill if your last one is or whatever. That's what he's saying. And we're like, and I'm like, oh, you can't be talking like that. But I said it a bit more aggressively, and I'm like, get out of here, get out. No one wants you, leave. But the director wanted me to be a bit more like, reserved with it, but I wasn't reserved. And basically, when you try something out as an actor, you feel that it's correct, and then you get told it's wrong. People usually go, oh yeah, that was a bit crap. Let's try that again. I mean, let's hit it from a different angle. I've never been feel like threatened before, so that was quite shocking to me. And then we did the scene again, and I was reserved, and I felt like I did a lot better with it. And the director went, that was great. And he also said to us at one point, yeah, we don't want you to take any other work outside of this, which usually means which is weird to ask someone when you aren't getting paid. So
wait,
yeah,
what?
I know there's a lot to take out of this conversation, but
you're just dropping more like alarm bells.
If you have any more questions, just keep bringing it up because there's a bit more to go. So I had an extra job, so background artist. If you guys don't know, background artist stuff where you just a crowd work, so it doesn't really considered as a real job. You can't put it on your show reel.
But money's good.
Money's decent enough, especially when you're just getting free stuff like I was. So I said to him, "Oh, I have something on Thursday," and the meeting was on Thursday. You know what he's like about throwing people outside of meetings for random shit, like their washing machine or whatever not working. So I told him I potentially have it. And he said, "Cool, don't show up. Don't show up at all. I don't want you in this production anymore." And I was like, pretty. Looking back, I was like, "Oh fuck, I've lost my job. Oh no, I've lost my job."
What's wrong with him?
But it shouldn't be like that. It shouldn't be this mentality where it's like, it was so intimidating.
And it's free. Do you know what I mean? Come on, man. What a dickhead.
I know. Yeah, that was probably the worst job I've had.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Firstly, his communication skills are non-existent. This dude's a dickhead. But what the hell? Like, you can't make one meeting and then get the fuck out. Where's he gonna find it? What?
You're not gonna have people with it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like,
to each their own. I think
this dude, what a dickhead.
I know.
But that's actually an abuse of power.
Yeah, that's exactly what it
is. Big time.
And when I'm in it, I was just so thankful to have a job.
Mm-hmm. As an actor would, you know, you get
Yeah.
that job, you're like, oh shit, nice, I have something. I get to work on my skills, build up some content and such.
Yeah.
But no.
And he's like, his theories of like why he would, I feel like as it went on, he would want me to, you keep doing that with your hands. I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh,
like
what?
the camera angle's looking a bit funky for you there. He's shaking his raisins, not the raisins you think, the real raisins he's got in his hand. Oh my god, Andrew. Jesus. This is not like David podcast.
Hey, if they can't see it.
Yeah, they can't see, they don't
You
know,
know
but
what I
they
mean?
can see it, bro, right here.
Oh, yeah, shit.
Audio people.
Hey, guys.
They, but yeah, bro. You want a job, you want a job. So you never had any experiences like that?
No, nothing crazy.
Oh, thank God, bro, honestly. But you've never, like, is it the worst job, just basically shit coordination? Is that about as bad as it gets for you?
Pretty much. I haven't really hit anything like heavy racism in the industry just yet. I think because I haven't been out auditioning enough, and I haven't really done enough stuff to really be like, yep, cool, that's what it looks like.
We're still pretty much at the, like, you know, we're still
the beginning stages.
We're still in the beginning stages, you know. So there's time for the racism, bro. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Don't you worry.
I know it will come. You know, sometimes when they're like, oh shit, is this it? And then it turns out not to be.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
But yeah, no, it will come. It will come, sure. Man. But one thing that I'm liking though is now the range of black roles that they have. Like, have you seen Queen and Slim?
No.
You haven't seen Queen and Slim?
I haven't.
Bro, I fucking love that film. I watched it.
Can you calm down? Oh my god.
How many people going?
12 of them. Oh my god.
You don't usually get more than one at a time.
I'm sorry. Queen
and Slim.
Queen and Slim.
Mm-hmm.
When was this made?
It was made last year, I think it came out beginning of this year.
Okay, let me know. Give me a...
Daniel Kaluuya, Jodie, I don't remember Jodie's surname.
Was this the one with the police officer who got shot?
Yes, there you go. Yeah. That one, man.
Yeah.
It was a brilliant film, really, really well done. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie. When I watched that film, I was like, "Damn, I wish I got that role." Daniel Kaluuya had, man, because it was beautiful.
But
what a role.
He's like, you see him sneaking up though.
Daniel Kaluuya is my guy.
I mean,
he's my guy.
Get Out made him, like, and then he. Oh no, he was in Skins.
Black Mirror. He was in Skins. Skins. He started off with as a writer, and then they had a little a program for young people that they can write for Skins. So he took up that program, and I think somehow from there ended up getting in the show. But I've followed his work for years, Daniel Kaluuya.
Yeah, he was in.
He even did Sucker Punch at the I think was it Royal Court, written by Roy Williams. Brilliant play. I used it to get into drama school, and then from there he's done Blue Orange at the Young Vic, and then just boom, Get Out. Oh, this dude, man. He's like his career is just so amazing.
Black
Watching
Panther.
it evolve. Black Panther as well. Like he picks his roles amazingly. He really does. Every one of his roles, I'm just like, yo, this guy's just killing it.
Yeah, absolutely. I
got a lot of props for him.
Absolutely. What was he in recently? I feel like he was in something quite recent. Oh no, it was that film, wasn't it?
Queen and Slim, yeah.
That's what it was, yeah. Oh,
that was it, and that was the shit. Ooh.
Okay, I'll watch it because I watched a film, I think just before that, and I think when I watched that, I was like, oh, it seems a bit similar, so I didn't really want to watch it. So it's The Hate That You Give. The hate you give.
I haven't seen that yet.
I have mixed reviews about it. I still enjoyed it for what it is. But yeah, I'll get into that for a second. But at the same time, it's someone who goes, they're in a car with a friend. And,
gets pulled over by the police. He gets shot.
He gets shot.
Yeah.
He gets shot. It's a different thing. He gets shot. It's less of like a Bonnie and Clyde where they're running away kind of thing.
The Black Bonnie and Clyde.
Bonnie and Clyde, man. But yeah, no, it's a completely different story. But I think maybe that just seeing someone shot. I mean, obviously it happens a lot, but seeing someone shot, I was like, oh, I didn't really want to watch a film that had the kind of like same like. What's the word? Happening like the catalyst of it, like the event that triggers the rest of the story. But yeah, it's I'll definitely give it a look because you can't go wrong with Daniel Kaluuya. Right?
Exactly. You know, after it finished,
podcast changing to Daniel Kaluuya, Party Boys. Okay, Daniel Kaluuya boys. There we go.
Yeah, I respect him a lot. You know, when the film finished, actually, I watched it with my family, me, my mum, and my dad. And after it finished, man, we sat there for a good 3 to 4 minutes just in silence, I'd say. So I'm like, just taking it in. You know, all the credits, all the funky credits had gone by. Now it was the boring credits that just go from the bottom to the top. You know when it gets to that point, yeah. Usually everyone's out the theater by that point, but we were sitting there just like, whoa, that shit was dope. And to be fair, I think we were the only black people in the cinema, and we thought we were the last to leave because we were just there like that was fucking crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But what a film! Lena White something. I can't remember her surname.
Glad you're not spoiling it because you haven't given me anything. So
oh no, I'm not giving you
a
single thing
because it's Daniel Kaluuya's in it.
What and he's amazing. And Lena, I can't remember her surname. Lena. Oh man, but she's usually in comedy. That's one thing I was quite surprised to see that she wrote Queen and Slim. Because usually she's an actor and screenwriter as well. But yeah, I usually see her in comedy stuff. So when I found out she wrote that, I was like, whoa.
She's the lead actress.
No, she wasn't in it at all.
Oh right, sorry, you mean she was the writer.
Mm-hmm. She just wrote it, and I was just there like, wow, it takes some real depth and just real consciousness to really. I don't even know what the words are for it. Just...
Well, I think when you do comedy, a lot of the time they tend to be the best kind of serious actors, because when you do comedy, if you're really good at it, you're usually really good at drama. Mm-hmm. And they say that comedy is the harder thing to do because it is truth, and the joke's funny because you're truthful about it. You're sincere. So I think that they know. I think a lot of comedy writers know drama more than anything.
Okay, see, there's a saying that jars with me a little bit. It's easier to make someone cry than it is to make them laugh. As an actor, I've heard that a few times, and I'm just there like, I can't make someone cry. That sounds difficult as hell, but I've made plenty of people laugh when I'm on stage. But to make someone cry, like really cry, wow, nah.
Ballin', bro.
To be fair, I don't think I've made anyone laugh till they cry. So both ends of the spectrums are very difficult to do, but hey, you gotta nail it to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're working towards.
That's what we're working towards, man. Yeah. So I'll give that film a watch. Definitely.
Yeah, dude.
Give that film a watch.
Do you know what? I realised at the beginning I didn't even ask you, what have you been up to in the last month?
Do you know what? I've been holding on to that for this entire episode. Hurting my soul inside. But I'm better late than never, right?
Mm-hmm.
How am I doing? Is that what you asked? I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah, no, how are you doing?
How am I doing?
I wanted to try to bring it up earlier. I was like, oh no, we've gone too far now. I'll bring it back later.
Do you know, I'm good. Again, just self-isolation right now. I'm hoping that this podcast can reach people who are self-isolated and then just kind of give them a bit of a distraction for things, so I don't really want to touch on it for too long. But it's I've been taking in a lot more films and different kind of experiences with that. So I've been watching a lot of... I figured out only recently that Robert Pattinson is playing Batman.
Yeah.
And I really liked him. So I heard of his film called Good Time, where his brother is mentally disabled, and they end up robbing a bank together.
Oh,
he convinces him, and then his brother is the one who ends up getting arrested, and he does all of these horrific things to try and get his brother back, and it's like a hole that he keeps digging for himself. And when I watched that, I was like, oh, I love this guy. Like, how much can he push it?
Was this after Twilight, sorry?
Yeah, after Twilight.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
nice.
after Twilight. This is like last year. And then he did another film with Robert Eger. Yeah, he did the film called The Witch. It was on Netflix. It was an art house film, period piece. So his new film, The Lighthouse, stars William Dafoe and Robert Pattinson, and they're lighthouse keepers, and they have to be there for 2 weeks, but then their ship doesn't turn up. And there's a lot of like
supernatural shit.
I
knew it.
Supernatural stuff, and it's like the sea is communicating with them. And oh my god, like, because it's art house. I love art house, and the imagery that they use. You can watch it 15 times and still pick out stuff from it. It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. I think that was one of my favorite films that I've watched recently. But I'm a sucker for art house. I love art house films.
Yeah, I know you do. I already speak about it quite a
I
lot,
just
which is
never
quite
stop speaking
interesting.
about
No,
it.
no,
Like,
it's
I'll
great,
text you random
man.
times. I love art house. Shola, stop it! I'm in the shower.
In fact, can you define art house to our viewers? I think you'll do it best.
I can probably do it better for film. Art house for film is kind of like I think art house is determined of different things. A lot of the time, it's determined with independent creators. That's usually who do a lot more art house things, art house creations, a lot more art house projects, and it's mainly defined of imagery, sounds, and sight that is quite surreal, but it tells the story through a different kind of lens, almost like over exaggerating those properties and trying to tell a story through that. So you have things like Only God Forgives, which is a really well-known art house film starring Ryan Gosling. It's, after the time he did The Notebook, he did a lot of art house films to try and get outside of that.
Love it.
Exactly. So he did this one film, and he barely talks in the entire film, but it's a film about starring Thailand. And I think his brother owns an operation that is quite illegal, and he does a lot of these things that are quite illegal and bad. But Only God Forgives is there's one character who, if you watch continuously, you'll find out that he is God. And at any time that he's in like a fight scene or whatnot, he always seems like he survives. But it's not done through like Matrix style or like really. It just seems like he's a normal person. And so Only God Forgives, as he can choose to survive or he can choose to punish that person or not. And spoiler alert, at the end, he chooses to punish Ryan Gosling's character and chops off both of his arms. But you never see him with his arms chopped off. And the original end of the scene was that he was meant to show that he didn't have his arms and that he was with his significant other. She was going to feed him pudding, and to show that he still managed to have a life outside of his gang related things and whatnot, and like kind of like him losing his arms was a metaphor for him leaving that life behind. So it's and each time it's one of the biggest scenes that people have been the controversy about that is that every time every time that he punishes someone or does his bidding as he does, he'll go and do karaoke, but it's a 4 to 3 minute scene every single time of him doing karaoke. So instead of it being like a 10-second thing, and he does it like he does his shit like 5 times, right? So it's like you have to sit through every time you have to sit through a 3 to 4 minute scene of karaoke, and you're like, oh my god, make it stop.
And are his like punishments quite intense?
Well, he chopped off his
So that sounds very intense. So you're sitting there like, whoa, what the hell did I just watch?
But
this dude's just singing.
But some people have experienced it and said it's the worst film they've ever seen. But then some people have experienced it and said it's the best film that they've ever seen. So it's really a mixed bag of what you feel. I personally love them. One of the other films was. Do you know? I'm just going to go on a ramble. Sorry.
Do a thing.
It was Scarlett Johansson in the film called Under the Skin. I was shown this by my friend who really liked art house films at the time. Told me to watch it. Shot in Glasgow, and she drives around a white van in Glasgow. And the thing about it was, she'd go around and ask people, "Oh, I'm looking for the nearest hospital. Can you direct me towards it?" "Oh, it's just there and there and there." And she goes, "I don't really know the area too well. Can you jump in and show me?" These were real people.
Oh, snap!
These were real people that she went up and asked during the film.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, did they not know who she was?
Some people would recognize her and go, "Oh, you're not that," and she'd still be in character and kind of react way and just kind of move on or whatnot. But when they actually did go in the car, the producers and directors would jump on them and go, "Sign this disclosure form, sign it," and then they'd put it in the film. But the way it would work.
Wait, before or after they got to the hospital?
Oh, it was like, I think as soon as they jumped in the car.
Oh, okay.
As soon as they jumped in the car. As far as I know, I know it would happen at one point, but...
Yeah, you know it would, but I wasn't sure whether it would after they left.
But the story is that she's an alien, and she's, the way that she feeds is that she feeds on people and she takes them to another dimension, and she strips them down to their nakedness and makes them go into like a pool of blackness, and in the blackness they are eaten up from inside out, so they're just a pile of skin left. So that's how she eats people.
So it definitely didn't make it to the hospital.
No, he didn't make it to the hospital, bro. He made it somewhere.
Yeah.
He didn't make it to the hospital.
Oh, shit.
And then
that's what you get for being a good citizen.
It's like a film based on beauty because there's a certain actor in it who's got like an elephant man deformity in it, and she was going to eat him, but then I think she kind of felt bad for him, so she let him go. But he's naked at this point, so he's like running through the streets naked and stuff like that. But at the end of the story, she kind of wants to try and become human. There's a scene of her in a restaurant, and she's got cake, and she tries to eat it. And as soon as she eats it, she just like kind of like as soon as it touches like her tongue or whatever, she just starts like puking everywhere. And she's like, it's quite sad actually because that's all she wanted was just to become human.
Mm-hmm.
And but the main thing that I take away from it is the soundtrack gets under your skin. Like
the name.
Yeah, exactly,
Ooh.
and it haunts me. That's one of the things. Anyway,
Clever wordplay there.
I could talk about this all freaking day, all freaking
You really know your shit about films, huh?
That's just art house, bro.
Okay.
Well, you know your shit about it. Like, come on, don't put yourself down. You know stuff about theatre that I really don't know. Like, I'm like, okay, who's that? Fucking hell.
Yeah, we all have our little, specialties.
I suppose, yeah.
So, would you class Get Out and Call Me by Your Name art house films?
I'm sure it's like anything, right? I think anything can be considered. It's like if something's dramatical and it has a joke in it, could you consider it a comedy? So there's subtle.
All right, shut me the fuck up.
All right,
wow.
Sure.
Wow. Okay, cool.
I was joking.
Damn, all right, Sola. I see you. You gonna drop a little subtle dig, make me look an idiot on
the Peacock's podcast, Billion Central, Daniel Kaluuya lovers. That's what we hit up. That's the expectation. I don't think I would. I'm trying to think of a generic film that I can kind of suggest to you that would be considered art house.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. A lot of them aren't really shown, and I don't know.
I can't think of any. To be honest, I'm still not sure I grasped the full concept of
I think for next podcast, right? Okay, next podcast. I think Andrew, you should watch an art house film.
Yeah, bro. I'm on self isolation here, but you give me a list.
I will try and get you one film I could think of. It's really good. Only God Forgives. I think is throwing you. It might be throwing you far too into the deep end. I think it's a bit much. There's a film called by the same person called Neon Demon.
Neon Demon.
It's about the modeling industry, and if you can try and, I think whatever you consider art house is like, what the fuck is this film about? If you're like that at the end of it, like I have no idea what I just watched, but I loved every second of it. That's what art house film is for
Inception?
me. No, because that's about dreams. That's about dreams. Right?
Actually, no. To be fair, yeah, I got Inception.
Maybe you could class it. Do you know what? But to be fair, people could be listening to this and go like, "Oh, you're not doing the proper definition of what art house is." So I mean,
people will cuss us out for anything.
Do you know what, man?
Silence on them haters. I don't care.
That's it, because we got Daniel Kaluuya in our back, man. This video is sponsored by Daniel Kaluuya, okay? It's not sponsored.
I wish.
Why would he sponsor a podcast? It wouldn't happen. But you wanted to talk about the film Us, didn't you?
Oh yeah.
Yes. Let's do that. Us, because while we're on the topic of films, we're going to bring it back to Jordan Peele's.
Bruv, have you got notes?
I got notes.
Oh, I thought you had some notes there. I saw you looking down like that. I was like,
this is me not trying to have an aneurysm while I'm thinking. I can only do one thing at a time, so I'm like, eyes and brain shut off, my hands moving. So Us. Yeah.
Us, yeah. I watched that film recently. I don't really know what to add to it actually,
because I think when we were talking about it, you were watched halfway through it.
Yeah, so I was a bit like, whoa, what's gonna come?
Going on? Did your idea of it change once you finished it?
Yes.
Because it seemed like you were a little bit like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I did. See, I don't want to compare it to Get Out, but
it's hard not.
It's hard not because Jordan Peele, man, came straight at the gates with Get Out. Like, fucking hell, that's an amazing film, and I've watched it 4 times because I think I got everything by like time 2, but then by the second time even. But then I had to introduce my brother to it, and I also introduced my family to it as well, because it's just such a brilliant film, and so much layers to pick into it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Us was still a great film. I really liked it. But it's just so hard not to put a comparison in your mind. Difficult. See, one thing that, I wouldn't say ruined some of it for me, but kind of took away a bit the fear factor of it was, you know, when they're in the
spoilers.
Oh,
Spoilers.
snap. Fair point. Should we not spoil nothing, actually? Come to
No, we've already said it right now. It's spoilers, okay? Spoilers.
If you haven't seen us, turn off your...
Please
Just skip
stay.
5 minutes, okay?
Yeah, just do it. Okay, go on.
So, yeah. So, the part where they go into the glass, the mirror place. Mirror...
Yes, the fun house.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
The fun house. When you go downstairs and you actually see the area that they live in, the shadow people live in, it was not nearly as scary as I expected.
As your mind.
Yeah, my mind was like when Lupita Nyong'o filled out, painted the picture. Even it describes such a scary situation, a scary area. And you go there, it looks a bit like a psychiatric ward ish. You know, it's bright lights, people acting all weird, but you know, because I'm even sure she says something about people brought up from the depths of darkness, and all stuff like that. Really paints it as this scary, almost pitch black place.
I think once you see it, you think it's like kind of like an iconic horror, as it starts and stands out with the red jumpsuit and the scissors.
Mm-hmm.
It's an iconic look.
Yeah.
So that kind of goes with the vibe. You're like, okay, I'm experiencing something of history right now. So when you have that, you do have high expectations, literally coming right off of Get Out as well. So I think every film has its different levels and what it's supposed to do, because Get Out changed to everything. So the expectations after that, I don't think anything would have came out, and I think anything could have came out and it wouldn't have been, everyone would have not liked it because it wasn't as good as, it wasn't game changing as Get Out was.
Mm-hmm. But you know what? In fact, I think I did need to watch Us again, because I feel like maybe
While you
that's a good. I'm in self-isolation, brother. I probably will.
We'll see what happens, man.
I ain't gonna read this whole time.
I want a report for episode 5. Okay, that's what I want. I want an odds report.
Jeez, because I feel like maybe I missed something. Maybe I missed some stuff. Because I watched half of it one time, and then I went to watch the rest of the second half a few days later, and I was like, no. You know what? Jordan Peele would want me to watch it from the beginning. So I rewatched it from the beginning.
Oh, you rewatched it from the beginning? Okay,
yeah, cool. I wanted to build the tension so I could really be there.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Close all the blinds, have the light and everything just dark.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was interesting. I didn't think I need to watch it again. I need to watch it again.
I think so, maybe. I appreciate it for what it was. Maybe because I didn't expect a lot from it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I tried to go on with no expectations, which is hard.
It's stiff.
It's really hard. But yeah, to be honest, I don't even think you ruined it. I don't think you ruined much of that, actually. You can watch back now, guys. It's fine. Don't worry. It's okay. No spoilers. There wasn't really much spoiling, but no, it was it wasn't horrible. It wasn't fantastic either. Maybe. Is that what you were...
I feel like it could have been quite amazing still. If I just rewatch it, it'll be quite amazing.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah. Because there's a lot of imagery you can take away from it, the rabbits and the reference to Hands of America. I believe that's what it was. It was like a.
Oh yeah,
that's Hands Around America.
The charity. Yeah. Is that so? That's a real charity, isn't it?
Yeah, I've no idea what it's about. I didn't really go on the research for it.
No. Neither did I. But I'm sure I've heard about it.
That's the thing. I mean, films are typically with films like that. You can kind of. That's a little bit art house. Maybe that's a little bit art house. I don't know. Do you know what? Let's stop doing this. Okay, I'll just get you an art house film. It's cool.
Yeah. You don't confuse me.
I'm confusing me. I'm confusing myself. I liked it. I enjoyed it. There's a lot to pick out. So maybe another watch could do you good.
Mm-hmm. I think so. Just a lot to pick out because. Yeah. But it was a sick film nonetheless. It was really good.
Dude, we've been going for quite some time. No way. Yeah.
Oh, snap! An hour. Hour 4 minutes.
Look at us, boy. Is there anything you want to? Do you want to close up?
Wildlife of Kenya, baby.
Oh, good.
That's what I'm saying. So my top, my creased top.
Is that the one that you?
You know what? You dressed up looking fresh. I just came down in this.
Dude, we ain't partying outside. We're partying inside, under a basement, in Andrew's bunker. Okay, remember, guys? $15.99 for 1 square of toilet paper. Right? Okay. If you're gonna miss this deal, you're an idiot. Right?
Find us on Ogonyemi.com.
Ogonyemi.com. Gachigi. Okay. Gachigi. Cool. But is there anything you want to finish off with the podcast? Because I've given you some homework. Is there any homework you're going to give me? Any extra points that you want to hit up before we finish off?
Oh, okay. Yep, cool. I have a homework for you.
Oh shit.
Well, joint homework for me and you to do.
Oh no.
Read the play Red Velvet, the one that we
Oh
took out. Yeah.
God! Oh, tell them about Red Velvet. Tell them how long we've had this. Shit in
So
our
we've
closet.
had this for, gosh, like 8 months.
What plays that we saw?
We watched Wife at the Kiln Theatre.
What was it called?
Wife.
Wife.
Yeah.
Yes. The production about a doll's house. Was it a whole thing about a doll's house?
Ish. It was kind of like actors doing a doll's house, but then the real drama happened off stage kind of style.
Yeah.
From different years. It was like 1900s, and then 2000, and then somehow like a few years. Was it in the future as well? One of them?
Yeah, it was like it was like, a lot of it was based around relationships.
Mm-hmm,
A lot of it was
based around relationships, heterosexual, homosexual relationships.
But about like women's as well, women's rights because of the previous time and whatnot. But yeah, we had after the play we
went to the little chill out spot. The lobby, that's it, the lobby. And
that's our spot, don't worry. You can't take it. You can't sit with us, okay? You can't fucking sit with us.
So we went to this chill out spot to digest the film, and not the film, the play, digest and maybe talk about it as well and catch up a little bit. And then we saw these plays. There was a little library there where you could take plays from it. So we scrolled through and came across one with our man Adrian Lesser on the front, called Red Velvet. So I picked it out. I was like, okay, shit, I might take this. Sola found another one. He was like, oh shit, we could both read this. So yeah, next time we see each other, we'll read it and talk about it. We would have read it and talk about it even. That was 8 months ago. We've not read it at all. I've not picked it up.
No, okay, I'm definitely going to do that because we could probably do a podcast about that as well as.
I have it at my bedside table still.
Dude, we just need to do it, right? Okay, so one of us just randomly texted you, pick up that fucking book, and then we'll read it. So, but this was a month in between the last one, and if this self-isolation continues and we're in lockdown, then I'll probably just have to come over here like next month and do it again. Yeah,
or do it over the phone somehow.
Oh yeah, we could probably do Skype or whatever. Just so much effort. But this podcast might potentially come out a bit earlier then because of that. But no, so next time we'll read the book. That's a good one. I like that. It's a good one because that's a difficult one. Great.
Yeah.
Great. Okay.
That one's going to be long.
Yeah.
I'm kind of regretting saying it now. Nah, to be fair, I like reading plays. I really like
plays are a lot easier to read, I think.
Than books. See, I like. Oh, it's difficult because I don't like reading, but I do it. But
you're an audio man though.
Yes, I like this podcast. Yeah. One thing I don't. Well, just reading for me is long, but I love like hearing other people's opinions and thoughts, and I do love reading it too. Because I pick it up visually, because sometimes with audibly I can daydream. Same as visually. But but I just find reading to be long. It's going to be a challenge for me too.
Well, here's to that. We'll do that next time. Man. Guys, tune in for the next episode where we review this book. Please hold us accountable, because we might not do it, to be honest with you. Yeah. But I will make sure Andrew watches Neon Demon or
that's what it's called. I was going to ask you what it's called.
Don't worry, we'll get the notes later. So, but guys, we will definitely read that and do a review of that to let you guys know. If you like this episode about black masculinity, please let us know what you think about it.
Yeah, we dove quite over a few different topics. I
think we're a bit more controlled than last time, though. Yeah. We're still finding our ways. Still new to the podcast games. Still new. But the Peacock's podcast is going strong. We're peacocks. We're actors. We're typically known to like to flex and show off our wings, but sometimes we just want to sit down and chat about things and show that we have different personalities apart from just trying to have loudmouths on stage and on screen. So thanks for joining us for this episode, and we'll see you for the next one. Peace out, guys.
Did you write that?
No, I didn't.
Oh,
I didn't.